This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called Why Whites Want Blacks Ghetto Hoods. Why Whites Want Blacks Ghetto Hoods. You know, whites have a common purpose of consent, and other parts of society follow them too. People of color and of all races that come here, and they have this common purpose of consent, that blacks live in a ghetto and blacks live in trash, and they tear down their communities, and they can't keep nothing, and they can't govern nothing, and they can't do nothing for themselves, and they are on welfare. But see, it's okay for 85% of those in America to be on blacks' constitutional wealth. But 15% of blacks can't get crumbs from it without being called welfare and ghetto and this and that and all the names that they designed for them in their common purpose of shaming them about getting cracker dust of their wealth. They don't want blacks to have cracker dust on their wealth, yet they come here for an American welfare dream, 85%, since blacks is only approximately 15% of the population, if that. Well, anyway, why whites want blacks ghetto hoods? Because they're patriarchal, indoctrinated, subjugated syndrome. Now, the way it shows in them is they have a parasitic frenzy of that if they cannot infringe on blacks based on their PIS programming, then they can't breathe. You know, they have a frenzy and to infringe, and taking away their rights to infringe on blacks is taking away their right to breathe. So if they see blacks even in ghetto and in ghetto hoods and trash, they must have their ghetto trash, especially if blacks not bothering them. Blacks are not even allowed their ghetto trash because patriarchal indoctrination, subjugated syndrome, whites feel as though you're blocking their frenzy to infringe on whatever you have as a black. If you're telling them to stay out of your ghettos, then you're blocking their parasitic fiending to infringe on anything you got, and so, or anything you have. And therefore, their parasitic frenzy of they must be able to breathe by grabbing anything you have leads them to, a lot of times, the ghetto neighborhoods where they do something called regentification. Now, this regentification means that they're telling blacks they can never form no roots. They're not human enough to want roots, want a place to call their own, want a place to go back to, want a place to remember, want a place that they has established memories, and want a place to say that I grew up there, and it's still being the same as far as the ethnic group makeup that was there when they were there. No, they constantly criticize ghettos, yet their parasitic nature won't even let us have our trashy ghettos. Their parasitic nature is affronted and hurt unless they can infringe on our trashy ghetto through regentrification, and therefore change the genotype of the neighborhood makeup, and skyzoo the taxes, and, you know, put the real estate up to 200 and 300 and 400,000, because this system has them as the bankers' whores, and as the bankers' whores, they have the exchange of money as the bankers' whores to trample the Constitution. Even though the bankers getting tired of their whores now, they're the banker whores, and as the banker whores, they had the the system working with them in regentification to go ahead and destabilize and dismantle blacks anytime they want in their trashy ghettos, and to put their parasitic imposition on black stability, their families, their lives, their history, their substance, their emotional bodies, their ethereal energy, their spiritual bodies, because all this consists of having roots. And they don't want blacks to have roots because it'll offend their parasitic piss psychology. See, they got a parasitic piss psychology. Their parasitic piss psychology is still piss because it's based on patriarchal indoctrination subjugation syndrome, which is white supremacy based on a patriarchal male, white male being the main supreme, which is why Congress and most governors are white males. And the 19th Amendment women voted for this, and they've been voting for this 100 years, and they voted for every evil just to make sure their parasitic need to infringe for their breath continues. And so they don't care about all the evil that they just automatically consent to. They just automatically consent to every evil. They just gore up evil, as much evil as you need to gore up. Long as you can parasite under your piss-programmed indoctrination, where you have the right to ghetto trash of blacks because you're offended if blacks is left with any of their ghetto trash, that you always in common purpose say that they're trashy and in the ghetto. And in that common purpose of trashing them in the ghetto, in this overall media beast weaponry, a character assassination of blacks, it gives a consensus of common purpose that whites can destabilize them out of their roots anytime that they feel like it, as the bankers, whores of the globalists, of consent and done contracts, of basically monetary exchange, where the contracts are not based on constitutionality, but based on a majority of trampling and infringements, because that's their parasitic nature. So the question was, in case you forgot, why do whites want blacks ghetto hoods? Because they're parasites. They're parasites, and that's why the lice recognize them as a relative. I mean, they're just like parasites. They're parasitic. It's like a plague of parasites. So a parasite don't care about the humanity or the God-womanity of the people. A parasite just do what it knows how to do. Parasite. And if it can't parasite, it goes into a fiend and a frenzy until it can. And so this is why that no matter how much trash they say we are, they want our neighborhoods, they want our ghetto men, they want our ghetto babies, they want our ghetto culture, they want our ghetto music, they want our ghetto hairstyles, they want our ghetto earrings, they want our ghetto rap, they want our ghetto hip-hop, they want our ghetto bebop, they want our ghetto, they want our trash, because we're trash to them, right? They're the common purpose that we're the trash, we're the ones that everybody trashes for their American dream, even though we're the constitutional reality. But they and their American dream of their media daddy that's part of their satanic daddy regime, of their banker whoredom, are part of the globalist weaponry, where they can character assassinate us all day long while having a parasitic frenzy that if they can't infringe, they can't breathe. But I know one thing, and this is a little bit shocking. That white woman, you can't get that black vagina, can you? Oh, lesbianism? Maybe. But you can't put her black vagina in yours. So you go after what comes out of her vagina. The black man. And that's as close as you can get. You can't get that black vagina. All you can do is get what comes from near her shithole that has a shithole mind enough to deal with your lycy parasitic ass. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.